Hi, Beck Mack here for Pops Art, and the long-awaited day has arrived. It is the opening of Brett Whiteley's Inside the Studio here at the Logan Art Gallery, and I'm with the curator himself, Nick Yelverton. How are you, Nick?
I'm terrific. Thanks, Beck.
It's a big moment because this work has come all the way from the Brett Whiteley studio in Sydney. It's the first time many people have laid eyes on this work. You're the curator. What story are you telling through the way you've done this?
I want to tell a story about Brett's studio practice. You know, unlike those other big names in Australian art history like Tom Roberts and Arthur Streeton, who advocated for painting outdoors, plein air painting, Brett preferred working inside at his easel, at the kitchen table, on the lounge room floor, and sometimes in the bathroom. So with this exhibition, I want to provide a little bit of insight into his creative process and how he liked to work.
In my humble opinion, Brett Whiteley stands alone. Like, his work is fantastic. He's got an enormous identity. For yourself, why is he so crucial to Australian contemporary art history?
Well, he was one of a kind, you know. He was incredibly talented, charismatic, and he achieved remarkable success for an Australian artist. You know, he won the Archibald Prize for Portraiture twice. He exhibited internationally, and you know, his works are all held in the important collections here in Australia as well. And he's been the subject of many books, documentaries, and even an opera. That gives you an idea of how special Brett Whiteley is in Australian art history.
And I've got to say, when I first walked into this room, and I'm not exaggerating, my breath was taken away when I saw that. This is such a phenomenal work. And I know, I don't want to be cliched, but it is a masterpiece. Can you talk to us why this is such a crucial piece?
Well, this work won the Archibald Prize in 1976, and he painted this at his Lavender Bay home. So in 1970, Brett, Wendy, and their daughter Archie returned to Australia after 10 years abroad in Europe and America. And there they settled in this beautiful house, and that's where Brett painted some of his most iconic interior works. These paintings are characterized by, the colour blue, obviously, which really resonated with Brett. He depicts his own works in these pictures, which is quite interesting. And I don't know if you've noticed, Beck, but there are several works in this exhibition depicted in this work. There's some lovely resonances and echoes between the works throughout this show. But there's also, some lovely views looking out the window onto Sydney Harbour with glimpses of the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. And, he's depicted his muse, Wendy, there in the bottom left-hand corner as well. Yes. These works were primarily inspired by Henri Matisse, the Fauve artist, and his painting The Red Studio, which Brett saw in New York. Yeah.
And when I look at that painting, and then, of course, the other mega painting, for one of a bigger word. I just
mega scale, value, and aesthetics. It's incredible.
But I've never seen someone take on space so bravely. It's extraordinary. He just committed himself to the idea that there's a void in space, and and he actually captures that landscape. What is that part of his power?
It's his power, yes. He was an incredible colorist, and this big monochromatic painting here just envelops you. You get lost in it, and he created this luminosity by working and reworking the painting with paint and also rags as well. So there's spatial depth, and there's also quite light areas as well. It's quite captivating. Yeah.
Stunning. I love this one so much. So Nick, his personal persona was enormous. Yes. He was a legend. He was like a rock star. How has this affected, I guess, the way that we perceive him and his art?
Yeah, he worked very hard to craft this image of himself as a bit of a rock star artist, and he helped do that through some of his studio documentation. In this section of the exhibition here, we have pictures of Brett at work in his studios in London, New York, and Sydney. And in these images, he's performing theatrically for the camera by goofing around, like swinging on a rope, and he's carefully crafting this image of himself as a bit of a renegade larrikin artist who didn't quite play by the rules. So a part of his self-image was self-crafted, but also he was actually like this. He did behave like a bohemian artist.
He wasn't just putting it on for the cameras.
No, but obviously there's a little bit of that in these photographs. But yeah, he was the real deal.
Yeah. And do you think that sort of impacted potentially the way Australia viewed itself at that point? You know, we weren't just the yokels from the bush. We're actually these fabulous bohemians that could actually take on the world globally as art stars.
Yes, I think that's a fair comment. Yeah. So at this time, Brett had just returned. Well, at the time this photograph was taken, Brett had just returned from overseas after 10 years abroad in Europe and America, and he was. He turned the art world upside down.
What would you like the audience to experience by coming to this amazing show?
Well, I hear that Logan is an incredibly diverse, multicultural community here, and there might not be many people here who are familiar with Brett Whiteley and his work because they are new Australians. So I hope they come to see this exhibition, learn a little bit about Brett Whiteley and his life and work, and see some incredible pictures here. There are works in this exhibition that aren't just great Whiteley works, they are works of national significance, and I think they're going to be blown away here. We opened our doors this morning at 10 a.m. and we've already had 500 people walk in the doors, which is incredible. So
is that right?
That's correct.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So the people of Logan are lapping up the Whiteley show so far, which is very, very exciting.
Well, bring it on. I'm so excited to be here with it as well. They still look as fresh and contemporary as ever. And congratulations. It's a fantastic show. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.